back to another subscriber special. I am the Rat, and this is the Rat's Nest. Today we are here to discuss 250 subscribers, as well as my light novel and manga collection. We might touch on that a little bit, but before I get into talking about all that, I did want to say genuinely thank you all for 250 subscribers. When I hit 100 this summer, I had no expectations of hitting 250 anytime soon. And then Mushoku Tensei popped off. And just been some insane growth from there. Thank you all for all the support on that series. On the other series is on the light novel reviews from Mushoku Tensei and for some other series. Just thank you all genuinely. This has been a blast. I've always wanted to make videos like this and to just share my passions, right? And we'll get into that. Really, me wanting to share and part of the reason why I made this channel. But genuinely, thank you all. It's been so much fun, and I can't believe we're already at 250. Now 500 will be the next milestone, and I know what I'm doing for 500. It took me a second to figure out what I was doing here. So like, it'll be interesting to see how fast we hit 500. It's not gonna happen anytime soon, but it's fun to dream. It's very fun to dream, but 250 subscribers. So yeah, so I wasn't certain what I was gonna do for this. You would know this if you were in the Discord. Join the Discord, link in description. Haha, funny. Because I texted it out there. But coming into this, I had no clue what I wanted to do for 250. I was like, I knew it was coming up. I was like, what am I gonna do? I was like, I could do this, I could do this, and none of the ideas I really liked, and I kind of like decided on one. I'd be like, I don't know, just I never had one that felt right. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, what have I done for past reviews, for past specials? 20 subs was a Q&A. very, very scuffed Q&A. I really enjoyed making. Really enjoyed that one. 69 subscribers was a video I recorded in like 3 minutes by just hopping in a call with my friends and was like, all right, let's run it. 100 subs was kind of the model for this one a little bit more, because it was me talking about my top 10 favorite series of all time. And I really enjoyed making that video. I really enjoyed kind of thinking about it, really enjoyed sharing it. And it was really nice seeing everyone comment under it. It really was like, that's awesome. So I was like, what can I do here? And then I thought about it and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I could do a tour of my light novel and manga collection, because it's kind of part of the reason, it's a big part of the reason, if not the main reason why I made the channel in the first place. So a bit of Rat's Nest lore, right? A bit of Brandon lore, a bit of the Rat lore, right? I started collecting light novels back in 2018. I started collecting them back in winter. Specifically, it was November. I think November 1st, 2018, I bought my first light novel. It was Shield Hero Volume 1. I loved Shield Hero. I still love the first bit of Shield Hero. I love some parts of Shield Hero. My thoughts on Shield Hero are a little more complicated now, but I love the series. I have a ton of nostalgia and respect for it. You'll be hearing that a lot. And since then, it's just grown. Since then, I've just been collecting, especially whenever the disease that I won't name because I don't know what YouTube's going to do to this video if I say it, especially once that hit and all kind of the lockdowns went into effect. I read a lot. I read a lot of light novels, and that was when my collection really took form. And I eventually, I think that summer, added manga into it as well. I had some manga previously I actually got before Shield Hero Volume 1, but I just kind of grandfathered it in. I'll touch on it whenever I get there and looking through my collection and kind of seeing everything. But I don't consider that the start of my collection. Shield Hero 1 was the start of my collection. So with reading all this, obviously, I love this. I haven't, since then, I went to college, right? And so I just, in general, was reading a bit less, so it hasn't grown too terribly much. I've added a shelf since the summer of 21 whenever I went. But so when I say it's a 5-year collection, you know, maybe it's a little small for 5 years. I don't know. I don't know how this compares to other people's, but I love my light novels. This is my main hobby. I've always loved collecting things. I've always loved reading, and big anime guy, right? And so to have something that connects all three of those, it checks all the right boxes for me, right? it checks all the right boxes for me, and I think that's why I've really latched onto this so much. So with going through the collection here, right? I have no clue how long this is going to take. I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to look at everything. I'm not going to talk in depth about every series I have, but whenever there's something, I'm going to touch on it. I'm going to touch on the various bits of things that I have, various figures, whatever, all that, and just kind of looking at all of that. It's a dive into my collection, right? You'll get to see what kind of series I've read. Yeah. Yeah, you'll get to see all the series I've read. That's crazy. But yeah, no, part of the reason why I made this channel was because I love reading so much, and I love reading light novels and manga. And I always, I'd finish a book and I'd just think about it, kind of think about all my thoughts on it. And kind of as I got closer to actually, doing the Rat's Nest, and as the idea was formally, but like before the idea was like formally taking form, I was like, I should do a YouTube channel when I was like, and I could review light novels and manga that I read. I was like, because I read them anyways, right? All I have to do is get a mic and talk about it. All I got to do is voice my thoughts in front of a mic. I was like, I enjoy reading, but at the same time, I didn't really have people to share my thoughts with, right? The closest was my friend Kyle, but then again, he hasn't read Skeleton Knight in Another World, right? So I finished volume 6, and I'm like, who do I talk to, right? But now I can talk to you, my audience. I can talk to, if you click on the video, you probably read the light novel, and so, to have a kind of discussion and get my thoughts out there, it's been a ton of fun. But I love my collection. One day I hope to call it a personal library. That's so stupid. That's so dumb. But yeah, no, I really have a blast collecting. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So here we have the first shelf. You should be seeing it. The first shelf. This was the beginning. I should mention my first light novel was Shield Hero 1. After that, I got the first 2 volumes of Arifureta and Konosuba Volume 1. So my light novel collection starts with Shield Hero still and ends with Arifureta still. That is still how it goes. All of my light novels and everything are read in between them. And also everything on the shelves themselves are like I have read them. Like I have read everything that are on these shelves. There are some books that you'll see that are at my dorm, or they're on a little thing that I have here that are my 2 reads. But everything like on the shelf proper, I have read. Also, I'm missing a couple volumes of a couple series because I've loaned them to my friend Kyle. I will go ahead and say it's Mushoku Tensei 1 and 2, Reign of the Seven Spellblades 1 and 2. Journey of a Betrayed Hero 1 and 2. Shout out to Brandon Varnell. It's an original English light novel, which I think was really cool. I lent it to him so he could see. And then Arifureta 0 Volume 1. Those are the ones that I have currently lent out. But I do have them, and we'll talk about Mushoku Tensei whenever we get there, obviously right at the beginning. So before anything else with this shelf, we can talk about my figures. So the first figure there on the top shelf is Maikise Kirisu, obviously from Steins Gate. She is best girl just of all time for me. I love Steins Gate a lot. It's my second favorite series ever, right behind Mushoku Tensei, and I don't say that lightly. I really, really love Steins Gate, so it was just a no-brainer to get her figure. She was the first figure I ever bought, was this one. And so it's still there with Shield Hero on this original shelf that it was on. And so I love that figure. Got it off of eBay. That's where I get most of my figures, because you can get them cheap. You do have to watch out for fake Chinese ones, though. You want to make sure who you're ordering from and where they're located. This one is legit. Then we got underneath on the second shelf, we got Toka Yatagami from Data Live which I don't actually have the light novels for Day to Live. I need them. But whenever I was really buying a ton of light novels, I really read the bulk of my collection here. Day to Live light novels weren't out yet. So that dates it. Wow, that dates it a little. I've been meaning to pick them up. I just haven't gotten around to. I've got series that I need to catch up to first. But it was one of the first. It was like the 4th anime I ever watched, I think. And so I have a ton of nostalgia and respect for it. And this Toka figure is just extremely cool. You know, I'm not a huge figure buff, but this Toka figure I think is really cool. So I enjoy having both of those. So onto the series. We have obviously Shield Hero first. I have 19 volumes on the shelf. I've read through 20, but 20's at my dorm. You'll see that whenever I get to that part of talking about the books that are there and showing those off. Shield Hero 1, that's my original copy of Shield Hero 1. That's my first light novel I ever owned. I love the way this series looks. It's great at the beginning. I got 1 and 2 of Reprise of the Spear Hero, which is fun. I don't know. Volume 3 is probably out, maybe. I don't know. But that's just a fun little series. 1 through 5 of Roxy Gets Serious. I actually also have Volume 7, but I don't have Volume 6. I keep forgetting to buy it, and I need to do that. But I have Volume 1 through 5 read on the shelf. Volume 7 is on my to-read little thing. I have volumes 1 through 17 of the Mushoku Tensei manga. Obviously, you know, we'll get into the Mushoku Tensei. If you're a Mushoku Tensei fan, I know. I'm going to do a series over each of the volumes. So there, you can see my material, right? You can see my material. And here next we have the Mushoku Tensei light novels 1 through 14. I have 15 through 19 in my dorm. So you might notice I said that I had lent out 1 and 2 of Mushoku Tensei to my friend Kyle, but I still obviously have Volume 1 here. That is because I have an extra copy of Volume 1, and whenever we get to where it usually is, I'll say it. But this on the shelf is my original copy of Volume 1 that I pre-ordered, and it's like a first edition. It has the full gloss cover, and none of the other volumes have ever been printed with that. I can't say for certain if it was just the first printing has the full gloss cover, but every volume after just has the gloss on the title, and I think that is really cool. I'm a big nerd for little like collectors things like that. Mushoku Tensei being my favorite series of all time, I would say that this book, Mushoku Tensei Volume 1, like this first edition, whatever, is one of my most prized possessions that I have ever owned. It's definitely up there. To say it's my number 1, I don't know, because I would have to seriously consider everything that I've ever owned. It is definitely one of them, though. I love Mushoku Tensei very, very much, and it's great. It's a great series, 1 through 14, and then 15 through 19. Next, we have volumes 1 through 4 of the Eminence in Shadow manga. I don't know if it's a regional thing or if this is whatever, but my volume 4 doesn't actually have like the author's name or the Yin Press logo on it. I've seen a couple other people have this issue, but also I thought it was all the batch because everywhere I went physically, in the store, had the volumes like this. I mean, obviously, I picked it up. I was like, how can I not? But I don't know if it was everyone, because at the same time, I've seen plenty of pictures of people with them just normal. I don't know if this is rare or not, or if it's just a batch thing. But it's neat. It's part of the collection now. Volumes 1 through 4 of the Eminence in Shadow. Obviously, 3 and 4 reviews are up on the channel. Go watch them. They're good, I think. I don't know. I love The Eminence in Shadow. It's one of 2 web novels I've read, actually, that and Mushoku Tensei. I really, really love Eminence in Shadow. I can't wait for the new season to come out. Goblin Slayer Daikatana 1, if you've read it, you know, but it's written in second person, which is extremely interesting. It's the only second person book that I have. It was a really interesting read. I need to pick up more of it. I need to catch up on a lot of series, and Daikatana is one that I would love to have more of, but I would probably catch up on regular Goblin Slayer first. I have the first 10 volumes of this. This is actually the 4th series I ever got. After Konosuba and Arifureta, I got Goblin Slayer. I love Goblin Slayer. I love the whole aesthetic of it. I need to catch up to it. That's going to be a common theme. Speaking of common theme, Classroom of the Elite. I love it. I love Classroom of the Elite a lot. Ayano Koji is a phenomenal protagonist. I love the writing of it. I love the characters. I need to catch up on it. I really, really need to catch up on it. After Mushoku Tensei, My two that I'm going to catch up on are Grimgar, Fantasy and Ash, which we'll talk about later, and Classroom of the Elite. Like, I'm going to catch up on Classroom of the Elite. For next, we have Spirit Circle. You can see I have 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 here because 2 is up at my college. I'm currently doing a reread through and reviewing a volume because, gosh darn it, more people need to talk about Spirit Circle. It's my 3rd favorite series of all time. And by gosh darn it, I got a platform where at least 20 people might do it. If I can get one more person to read Spirit Circle, it'll all be worth it. This whole channel will be worth it. Reign of the Seven Spellblades 1 and 2 are with Kyle. Skeleton Knight and Netherworld 1 through 6. I actually had forgotten that I had 6 volumes of this. This is a series I might catch up to every once in a while. It's fun. This is a fun series, but it doesn't have too much substance. But I enjoy it. You know, nice little turn your mind off and read. And then 1 through 7 of Devil's Part-Timer, which are some really fun light novels that I need to catch up on, right? Funny common theme. So above this, on top of the shelf, we have my little One Piece shrine, which is basically what I call it, where I have my unread volumes of One Piece that, I mean, like, I could read, but I'd probably keep them here just because I really like how this looks. Obviously got my figures of Zoro, Nami, Luffy in the back there, which is my favorite figure that I have. It's a really cool figure. And then I have Boa Hancock in front. I actually got her at like a used media store for like $17. And I was like, dude, that's such a sick deal. I was like, one, finding a character that I know, two, it being best girl from One Piece. That's crazy. You got my Shield Hero poster in the back that I got at the very beginning that I really like. It's just a cool poster. Then in the back there, you can hopefully see a little Steins Gate, little like standing plate thing. Obviously, I really love Steins Gate, my second favorite story, media, whatever, in all of fiction. And so just having stuff that kind of honors it, because I think the only Okabe figure there is like a Figma, and I just really love the entire cast, so I just got this little plaque or whatever. So here we have kind of two shelves. What was here originally, whenever I started my collection, was a shelf that had been in my room since I was a baby, since like before I was even born. And I originally had my Haruhi Suzumiya novel, so you can see there on top of that. But once I was kind of expanding and everything and all that, I took down that shelf. I put up these two, and I really like how they look and how they turned out. Here we have, obviously on the bottom shelf, the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, the Haruhi Suzumiya series. I have 2 Haruhi figures. Just kind of caps it off because I had 2 figures on the top, so I was like, well, I need 2 Haruhi figures. Haruhi Suzumiya is a series that I've never seen the anime for. I've only read the first 3 light novels of. I really enjoyed the first 3 light novels, don't get me wrong, but this is definitely an aspect of my collector's self where they're a little bit less like quote-unquote in demand now that Yen Press has reprinted Haruhi. Not these original printings, but like as paperbacks of the original covers you can see on the hardbacks there. But they haven't reprinted the whatever. And so I have all 10 of the original paperback printings and the original hardback printings. And it took a second to assemble this. This is my quote-unquote light novel collector flex, because I saw a post on Twitter one time where someone said that they had all of them, and someone responded, I can't remember who it was, but they were like the ultimate, they were like, no light novel collection is complete, or like the ultimate crown, like the crown jewel of a light novel collection is a complete set of the Haruhi Suzumiya hardbacks. So I went a step further and got all the paperbacks as well, but those are pretty easy. Obviously some of them aren't in the best condition. Wavering, obviously, there's an old library book. Most of these are old library books. Thankfully, none of the hardbacks have any library markings. I think Wavering, again, Wavering of the hardback has a library stamp on it. But you can't see that. You can't tell that from whatever. None of them have like the library stickers. But Wavering, I can't get that sticker off. I've tried. I've very much tried. But it's not a hard book to get a hold of, the original paperback Wavering. So I'm probably going to get a different copy. Same with Boredom. Boredom is kind of the same. It's on the shelf. I have the first 3 on the shelf, so that's where they're not here. But I am proud of my collection of the Haruhi Suzumiya light novels. One day it might not be a flex. One day it might be simple. And I know these are worth nothing to people who don't care. But this is the collector side of me in my light novel collection, not just the I want to read funny isekai side. This is the all right, we're chilling, and so they're kind of here in this spot of honor. So now I will say spoiler warning for Mushoku Tensei Volume 26 plus. You can skip to this time in the video if you want to avoid the spoilers, because I have Volume 26, and so the cover is going to be here. So it's insane spoilers for the end of Mushoku Tensei, so skip on. And then on the top shelf, we have a cool little figure set. We have Aqua wearing Amelia's clothes and Amelia wearing Aqua's clothes. Just a very fun figure set. They're really high quality figures. I really enjoy them. So the books wise, we have a Japanese copy of No Game No Life, Volume 1 of the manga that I got whenever I purchased Volume 1 of the light novel on eBay. I got a Japanese copy as well, and it didn't cost me any bit more. That's why I got it there, because I was like, it'd be cool to have a Japanese manga. It was my first thing in Japanese. On the other side, we have Classroom of the Elite Volume 6, but it's a misprint. It's like skewed sideways, and the pages are all cut weird and everything. And I actually found it at my local Books A Million. It has a sticker on it, 50% off as is. It was on the shelf. Somehow this like extremely like badly malfunctioned whatever book made it out of the factory, was shipped to a store, and then was put on the store shelves, marked half off for as is. I was like, I can't not get this. Look, I can't say that this is the only volume like this in existence. What I can say is, if there are others, it would be a feat. So this is potentially my own little unique slice of light novel collection, which is why it's up here. I think it's so, again, that's the collector side of me. No one cares, but I care, gosh darn it. It's super cool to me to be like, this is my book. I own it. I really love it. It's super cool. Then, of course, as you can see, I have Japanese copies of the Mushoku Tensei Extras book and Mushoku Tensei Light Novel Volume 26. Whenever I saw the cover, for the Extras book, I had seen the cover. I was like, I have to own that. I hope one day it gets translated into English officially. There's probably English fan translations of it, because there's a lot of very like cool stuff in there. I know there's a whole timeline amongst other things. So getting all that translated would be really cool. If nothing else, I just love the art. I bought it for the cover art because I love that. Getting to see the parallels of Zenith and young Rudeus versus Rudeus hugging Lucy. It's just, dude, it hits me where I live, bro. That hits me where I live. And then Volume 26, how can you not love it? How can you not love the cover of Mushoku Tensei Volume 26? Rudeus' entire family. It's just, I saw whenever the cover was revealed, I just knew. I was like, okay, so I'm ordering that. I got both of these off of eBay. I was like, yeah, I'm ordering that. I'm just plainly ordering that. I can't not. Normally, in between here is my extra copy of Mushoku Tensei Volume 1 as kind of like the crown of my collection. Is my extra copy there. You can see also in front of them kind of the little book wraps. The Japanese, it's very interesting. If you're a big light novel fan, I recommend buying a Japanese light novel once just to kind of see the difference in how it works and how it's laid out. Like the covers themselves come off, but then there was also this like little extra thing that was on the cover that's like an ad for stuff. And like in the light novel itself, there's like ads for stuff, which is really interesting and honestly really cool. It's just interesting to see how they do stuff differently, but it's I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. My goal is one day to have an entire Japanese collection of the Mushoku Tensei light novels. Can I read them? No. Maybe one day I can. It'd be interesting to learn to read Japanese. But that's the Mushoku Tensei fan and also the collector in me that I really would love that. So, moving on to my second shelf of technically four. But my second shelf of technically four, we have a lot of my manga. So obviously, Berserk Deluxe Editions 1 through 10, right? It's Berserk. I love Berserk. Berserk volume reviews airing whenever I put them up on the channel. I think at the time of publishing, 12 and 13 will be up. I have through 30 recorded. It's a lot, but I do really love Berserk, and the deluxe editions are so nice. I actually bought volume 1 of the deluxe edition. I don't know if I told this story in a Berserk volume review or not, but I'm going to tell it here. I bought it on a whim because it was buy 2 get 3rd free at my local Books A Million, and I was literally on break from work because I worked in like a big kind of super center, whatever kind of area there where there's a bunch of stores around. And so I like literally walked over on my break to buy a book because I was bored. Because you know what you call it, if people weren't coming in, then I didn't have anything to do, so I was just kind of bored. I went over there. I thought it was like $30. Oh, I get my 3 books, go up there, ring it up, $56. I was like, and I was like, I didn't say anything because I'm a wimp and a coward. So that's how I bought Volume 1 of Berserk. I'd never read it before. But I just knew about it. I was like, it'd be a cool book to have, right? I was like, I got money burning a hole in my pocket, right? I'm a high school student. What else am I going to use it on? I read it. I really enjoyed it, getting into the end of Golden Age. And then my ex-girlfriend actually got me Volume 2 for Valentine's Day, and I get proper into Golden Age. And I've read the rest. You know, once you get into Golden Age with Berserk, the rest is history. Before we get into actually the rest of the books here, I want to talk about all the stuff on my shelves. So you can see I have 2 albums from Insane in the Rain music. Insane in the Rain and Innovation, or his real name is Carlos Eni. I apologize if I mispronounce that. But both of these are signed. Whenever I read, I like to listen to music, and I mainly listen to jazz, and I mainly listen to Insane in the Rain music. I'm consistently in like his top 50 listeners every year, just because I really love listening to his stuff. Obviously to the point where I got Innovation and Insane in the Rain signed. I love having these. It's awesome incorporating this into my collection because it really it's such a big part of my light novel experience and how I read and how I do everything there. It's really fun. I really enjoy getting to have those. Next to them, we have on the top shelf, we have a little Titan eating a guy, which I actually got from like a mystery pack I ordered off of eBay once. Which gave me like a random Blu-ray, random manga, and like a couple random little figures. And this was one of them. So I was like, that's awesome, an Attack on Titan figure. I'm going to do a video one day on my thoughts on Attack on Titan, but also what could I say that hasn't already been said? My opinion isn't exactly unpopular as to the ending of it, so I don't know. But I have all the volumes. I have all volumes. I have regrets. I have no regrets 1 and 2. I have regrets about Attack on Titan. But I have no regrets 1 and 2. I have all the volumes of Attack on Titan. I actually have, I think it's the Books A Million specific like cover of Volume 34, which is kind of cool. That's kind of a cool thing. On the top shelf, figure-wise, I also have a Funko Pop of Eren Yeager because Attack on Titan is the first manga and anime I ever read. Actually read the manga a little bit before I watched the anime. But that could be a story about how I got into anime proper. But this is, you know, I'm 12, 13 doing this, right? Getting into anime and manga for the first time. It's like 2016, 2015. What am I going to do if not buy a Funko Pop? Look, we all go through that phase, right? I mean, I hate Funko Pops. What you call it? I don't know how you guys feel. I don't like Funko Pops. But I have 3. I have Eren Yeager, Kaneki Ken, and Natsu from Fairy Tail. Oh, the Kaneki Ken one. It's cool. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It's cool. Oh, man. So those are the 3 that I have. Kaneki and Natsu. They're probably in my closet somewhere. I don't exactly know where they are. But I left Eren out just as in memento of this being my first manga, my first anime, really the one to get me into it. And the Eren Yeager Funko Pop being like my first like anime memorabilia coming out of that. So I left him there. On the second shelf next to Innovation, we have a little Goku figure I actually put together myself from one of those kits. It's not difficult, but it was really fun. I got it for Christmas last year, put it together. I was like, yeah, no, that was really fun. Got it for myself for Christmas, but I got it for Christmas last year. That was fun. Then I got some Pokemon stuff here. I have little Entei and Mewtwo figures, as well as a Snivy figure. I have a 24 karat gold Pokemon card. and a little Pokeball here that sounds a lot more impressive than it is. It was like $20. I think it is legit 24 karat gold plated card, but I mean, you know, it's not worth much. It's just it looks cool. It's a neat little collector's item, whatever. The Snivy is the interesting one here because I got that Snivy at the Nintendo shop in New York City. Whenever I went there with some friends, we went to New York City. We went to the Nintendo store, and it was on Mario Day. And the line was apparently 3 to 4 hours long. And I say apparently because we had no clue. We didn't see the line. The way we came at it, we only saw the exit. So we just walked in and no one stopped us. We just walked in the exit of the Nintendo store. No one stopped us. And we shopped around on Mario Day. We skipped like a 4-hour line. It's sick. I got this there. I got a little Snivy. He's one of my 3 favorite Pokemon. It's Snivy, Toxicroak, and Steelix are my 3 favorites. I could go way in depth on why those are all my favorites, but I have very good memories of this little Snivy guy. I love him. One, he's a high qual. I really like him as a figure. But just the story of how we inadvertently snuck into the Nintendo store on Mario Day by skipping the line and going in the exit. I love it. I love it. On the third to bottom, basically the bottom because there's nothing else on the bottom, we have a little Gundam figure similar to the Goku. Put it together, really like it. It's here. We have a Makase Kudesu figure, another one. This was the second figure I ever bought, and it actually is a Chinese knockoff because I didn't know to avoid that. I didn't know to avoid that whenever I bought it. So it's like, oh, well, you win some, you lose some, right? Oh, well. Next to her is the one you guys have probably had some questions about. Her name is Marin Hawk. She's from Gundam. She's missing a couple accessories. So I got this senior year of high school. My friend, what you call it, he came up to me one day. He's like, Brandon, I got a gift for you. I was like, okay. I was like, what's poppin'? And he's like, here. He hands this to me. Figure in a jar. And I'm like, huh? And he's like, it's a project. And I'm like, the hell it is. I'm like, dude, I'm like, no. And he's like, just keep me updated with the progress. I was like, yeah, sure, man. Yeah, I got you. Obviously, it's not a project. But it is absolutely hilarious. And the fact that I didn't buy it for myself is why I can display it without anything. I can tell the people it was a gift. It was a gift from someone. I didn't buy this for myself. I didn't do this myself. Someone did it for me. And that's why it's okay. But it took some researching to figure out who this figure was of, because I don't know where he got it. My theory is that he got it from the same store I got Hancock from, just because at media store it wouldn't have a label on it, missing some accessories. He got her there. He said he couldn't remember where he got her. He just randomly picked her up, put her in the jar. It's Marin Hawk from Gundam. A lot of researching to find. But I did eventually find it, and so there she is. There she remains trapped. Okay, but on to the volumes contained within. Obviously, already touched on Attack on Titan. I have a full collection of that. Hands Off Volume 1, which it was part of the random manga collection I got with the Titan figure. Then we have basically my shonen manga collection. One Punch Man 7 and 8, I got those were the second mangas I ever bought after Attack on Titan. I bought most of Attack on Titan before. Those were Attack on Titan, One Punch Man, and a couple others were grandfathered in, were the ones that grandfathered in. One Punch Man I bought after watching One Punch Man the anime, which was the third anime I ever watched. So obviously these contain the end of season 1 and then beyond, because I wanted to read that. So that's why those are seemingly random, but there is a reason why it's just 7 and 8. Bleach 1, Dragon Ball 1. I have both of those because I've read most of Bleach. I've read the original Dragon Ball. I'm going through Dragon Ball Z. It's slow. I'm on a break right now. But I like to have at least one volume physically from a manga that I read, even if I read it online. I will say specifically that shonen manga, I've read so many isekai manga that are never going to get a physical release, but that's beside the point. One Piece Ace's Story 1 and 2, One Piece Volumes 1 and 2, those who I have read compared to the others on the top of the shelf that I haven't read physically. I mean, I've read One Piece, but I haven't physically read through those books. Hunter x Hunter volumes 22 and 25 and 35. Read through Hunter x Hunter, so I just own those. Full Metal Alchemist Volume 1, it was given to me as a birthday gift from a friend. Chainsaw Man Volume 11, I will one day collect all of Chainsaw Man. I just simply haven't yet. I need the money and the time to collect all of Chainsaw Man. I love Chainsaw Man. Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 15, Kaiju number 8, number 1. Those are all series that I've just read. I wanted at least a volume of. Bakemonogatari 1 and 2. I love it. I'd love an entire collection of the Bakemonogatari series at one point. It's one of the series that is on my list, like closer to the top of what I want to catch up to and what I'm like going to actively try to catch up to. Underneath that, we have All You Need Is Kill. Absolutely fun. If you've never read All You Need Is Kill, you need to read it. And then go watch the live action adaptation, Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow. I can never remember which is the title of it now. It goes by both. Starring Tom Cruise. But All You Need Is Kill is absolutely phenomenal. At Night, I Become a Monster. It's the same author as I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, I believe it was. And so I was kind of looking forward to this because the interest kind of, the premise kind of interested me. And I was like, it'll be interesting to read like a novel instead of a light novel. It was kind of disappointing. I'm not going to lie. If you guys want to hear more of my thoughts on it, because I was kind of disappointed and underwhelmed by it. Here we have the first 3 copies of the paperback original copy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Then we have the 2 omnibus of Blue Giant, 1 through 4, essentially. That's another series like I'm going to catch up to. I really, really love Blue Giant because I myself play saxophone, and I think it's a really, really well written manga. I'm looking forward to watching the movie because I've listened to the soundtrack a ton, and it's very, very good. Then we have an entire manga collection of Zero's Familiar, or The Familiar of Zero if you're cooler. The Familiar of Zero, I love so much. I watched the anime so long ago, but it's really kind of, I think, fundamental. Part of the fundamental reason why I love Isekai is I absolutely adored this series just so much whenever I watched it. Obviously, the light novels aren't released in English. I really, really hope one day someone picks up like a legacy translation of them because I think that they deserve to be translated. But for now, all we have is the manga adaptation. So after having read all of it, it's okay, right? It's okay. I will say this is another one of my collector's thing here, where I love this series, but it's actually somewhat difficult to track down a copy of the 6-7 omnibus for less than like $100. I think I got this one from Canada off of I do most of my stuff off of eBay. But I think I got this one from Canada off of eBay, and it's cool. I really enjoyed getting to collect a series here that I really love, and obviously the first omnibus is cool. It's a little thing. The Chevalier volumes are interesting if you've ever seen them. The cover is sideways, so like if you imagine like you're holding the manga like you would normally to open it and read it, whatever. Like the cover is like you have to flip it landscape. Like you hold the manga portrait, but you have to the cover is landscape, which is really weird. It's the only one I have that's like that, which is odd. The really cool series to have, though. I love the Familiar of Zero. I have a lot of respect for it. So to have the manga is cool. I have Excel World Volume 1 and 2. It's okay. I enjoyed them as I read them, but not a series that I'm going to get all 30 volumes of it. Solo Leveling 1, can't wait for the anime. The Beginning After the End, Volume 1, review on the channel, look it up. Ragnar Crimson 1 and 2, it's a really fun series. Steins Gate 0, Volumes 1 and 2 of the manga. I will eventually get 3 when I find it. I do want also copies of the original Steins Gate manga, just because they'd be really, really cool to have part of the collector and me. I enjoyed the manga adaptation of Zero enough, but obviously Zero is Zero, right? I could talk so much on Zero. So a manga adaptation obviously couldn't do true justice, but it's cool enough what it did. Next, we have 2 volumes of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Adventures and Pokemon Arceus and the Jewel of Life manga adaptations. These are actually the first manga I ever bought. I bought these back in when I was 8. I got these. It has been a while since I have them. These were the other ones with One Punch Man and Attack on Titan that were grandfathered in whenever I grandfathered in my manga and made it a light novel manga collection. I really, really enjoyed these. They're absolutely classic. Every once in a while, I go back and reread them. It's just memories, but it's really cool to have them, and I like having them as part of my collection. I do kind of want one day a full Pokemon Adventures is actually a really fun series, and I'd love to have like a full collection of it, not just Diamond and Pearl, but all of it one day. Next we have Dr. Stone 1 through 10. Really fun series. I'm looking forward to the anime. I enjoyed the ending. It's good. It's cool stuff. On the bottom shelf here, we have Manga in Theory and Practice, which is a phenomenal volume if you just enjoy manga, because Araki has a lot of really good thoughts on it. And, you know, even if you're not planning on writing anything, or you don't have to plan on writing anything, it's a really good book to just read. I think I really enjoyed reading it, and just getting to kind of see the thought process that people go through and all that. It's really interesting. Obviously, some JoJo's. I have all of Part 2, Book 1 of Part 3, 1 and 2 of Part 5. I want to get more of Part 5. Again, it's just a thing of I got stuff that I need to catch up on, and Part 5 is definitely up there on the list. Part 5 is my second favorite part. Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan Volume 1. I love the cover art on that one. It's awesome. Last Round Arthur's Volume 1. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Volume 1. No Game No Life Volume 1. No Game No Life Please Volume 1. No Game No Life the Manga Volume 1. Berserk of Gluttony 1 and 2. The Invincible Shovel 1 and 2. Strongest Sage of the Weakest Crest 1, 2, 3. SCP Foundation Iris Through the Looking Glass Volume 1. There's never going to be a Volume 2. The Sorcerer King of Destruction and the Golem of the Barbarian Queen by North Carolina, which is half of the reason I bought it. The other half was the art looked sick. I think there's only 2 volumes of that, and like it's on indefinite hiatus. Like Volume 3 is never going to come out, so I should probably get that at some point. Loner Life in Another World Volume 1, ReZero Volume 1, and finally Heroes Overpowered and Overly Cautious Volumes 1 through 4, and then Overlord 1 through 3, which is kind of dark, so it kind of blended in. Here Lies the Graveyard. Overly Cautious Hero I'm going to get more of. Like that's a series I'm going to catch up on. But especially like Last Round Arthur's, Slime, No Game No Life, Berserk of Gluttony, Invincible Shovel, all this stuff. Kind of just like my one-off light novels. Will I get more of them? Maybe. If it was back in high school, I mean, I absolutely would. But at the same time now, just where I'm at, I'm really gonna prioritize just getting all the volumes in the series that I really love and focus on catching up, as opposed to variety. But hey, you know, it's fun to look at, right? I'll probably will read more No Game No Life. That was a really fun volume. But the rest of them, I don't know. Overlord, I might read more of. I'm just not a huge Overlord fan personally. But maybe I'll love Volume 4. I don't know. I read Volumes 1, 2, and 3 on a trip to the Grand Canyon. That's a really weird fact. But it's absolutely true. I know that because I got them specifically because the cover art didn't have an anime girl with her tits out. And so I was like, I'm fine reading these in public. I'm fine reading these in public. That's why I got them, despite not being the biggest Overlord fan. So on top of this shelf, we have another one of the jewels of my light novel collection, my Sword Art Online Collector's Edition. This has the first 20 volumes of the light novel collected in 2 huge omnibus volumes. So cool. It is really cool. It comes with posters of all the volume covers. I put up some of my favorite behind there. It comes with like a poster of the art on the box and the books that I hung up there. And then I have in front of it a figure set of Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh! You can actually put them back to back. I just don't have space. I think they look cooler like this with the setup I have. But I love these figures. I love Alicization. Sword Art Online is the second anime I ever watched, the second manga I ever read. And so I really do love it. And I saw whenever this came out, I was like, I do need that. Just the nostalgia and love and respect that I have for Sword Art Online, and that I'm really glad that I got this. I really love it. I think that it looks great as one of the jewels of my collection here. I really enjoy it. So now we get to the third shelf, if you will. I guess you can call it the third shelf. Because the last shelf, it's at my college. I don't know if it really counts. But this is the end of my light novel collection, right? Because it has Arifureta here. So technically, in between 2 and 3 is the college and all the other ones. We have here Volumes 1 and 2 of High School DxD, Volumes 1, 2, and 3 of High School DxD, which High School DxD was like one of the first anime I ever watched as well. I really enjoyed it. But you can watch Volume 3 is actually one of the first videos I did on the channel. But it was a Volume 3 review where I said I guess I've grown up, and I kind of went off of my format. I kind of went into a more modern light novel review format with that, which is, it was weird. It's ahead of its time. Grimgar, Fantasy, and Ash, Volumes 1 through 6. This is a series that, like, once I catch up to Mushoku Tensei, I am buying more Grimgar, Fantasy, and Ash. Like, that is like an objective thing. Like, that is going to happen once I catch up to Mushoku Tensei, because I've, admittedly fallen behind on it, right? But it makes for good. I'm kind of glad that I did, because then I could read it and record it for the channel, right? But Grimgar Fantasy, like, that's what I'm catching up on afterwards. I love Grimgar. It sucks because I've heard apparently it kind of drops off at like volume 12, and it's like, oh, I really hope that doesn't happen. But I know that it probably is, because that's what everyone says, and it's like, oh, but I love it so much. But I really love Grimgar. Gao Gohan 1 through 9. I need volume 10. I haven't been to Books A Million in forever, really, since it really released, and whenever I'm there and I look for it, they don't have it. I need it. My tradition with this one is buying every volume in person, because I originally bought it whenever I was still dating my ex-girlfriend, and I would go there and I would buy it with her there, because I was like, how cool is it that I can buy Gao Gohan and know that I'm not hopeless. It's such a stupid reason, but I really do love Gao Gohan. It's such a fun manga. It's a shame it'll probably never get an anime, but it's so much fun. And next we have Konosuba, 1 through 11. This is a series I'll complete eventually. I mean, it's up there on my series to get caught up to. Definitely. I love Konosuba. What could I say about Konosuba that hasn't been said already? Next we have How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom, Volumes 1 through 6, which will always get the award for lamest text on the side of a light novel. And they're just, how can you get any lamer than, like, Ariel, bro? Like who saw this and was like, yeah, now we're cooking. I don't know, maybe it's because he's a realist hero, so it's like a realist font. It's like Ariel. I'm like, well, that's lame. That's kind of lame. It's a fun series. This is definitely this is the series highest up on the ladder of, once I catch up to all the other series, or like if I ever catch volume 7 somewhere, I'll probably pick it up, because this is just a fun series. I think it does some pretty good stuff. It has some pretty interesting stuff every once in a while. It's a fun little series. Next we have Sword Art Online, the manga Aincrad. Not this physical volume, but because it was one of my friends, but this Aincrad, like the contents of this volume, it's the second manga I ever read. It was my friend's. He lent it to me. I read it. I loved it. Watched the anime. Here I am, big isekai guy, right? Ruined me forever. But once I saw this, like the first time I saw this in stores, I was like, I have to buy it, and I loved it. I still, say what you will about it, I love it. It's so nostalgic for me to look back on it. It's great. Next we have Progressive 1 through 3. I will stand by Progressive is phenomenal. And like Progressive is absolutely high up on the list of series that I'm going to catch up to, because it's so good. It's Sword Art Online, but it's like, it's good, and it's not bogged down by bad parts, because it's basically a soft reboot. It's like, look, I love Alicization, but it's happening in the same world as Al5, so it's like, it takes away a little bit. Progressive is just phenomenal. I love Progressive so much. Then we have 1 through 6 of regular Sword Art Online. Just, it's Sword Art Online. What can I say? And then we get to the end cap of my collection, Arifureta 0, volumes 1 and 2 of the manga, Arifureta I Heart Isekai volume 1, Arifureta regular manga volumes 1 and 2, and then we have 0 volumes 1 through 4. I'm actually reading volume 5 right now, and I have volume 1 lent to my friend Kyle, and then I have Arifureta mainline novels 1 through 11. And I really love Arifureta. Roshi Arakome is one of my favorite authors. Arifureta 0 is just an objectively phenomenal light novel series. to the point where I'm almost sad that it's tied to regular Arifureta, because, oh my gosh, just seeing Rose Shirakome's writing in Zero versus Mainline, and it's like, dude is kind of held back a little bit by Arifureta, I think. At the same time, for a self-professed Janibia, that's why I love him. You know, he goes out there. There's no doubts about who he's writing Arifureta for and what kind of story it's trying to be. But he's also an extremely talented writer, and that really shows in Zero, where he has just all the creative freedom in the world. I love his writing so much. I really do. And Arifureta being the end capstone of this is also there, and this is also intentional. That George Washington bust, that bust at the end there, that's a bust of George Washington that I got in DC when I was like 8, I think. Maybe I was 7, I can't really remember. But that has always been the end cap of my collection. Well, and so that continues to this day. It's the little things, it's the little traditions. I used to have a rule set with my collection, and I don't anymore because I'm not cool. I'm not cool like that anymore, sadly. So for the last stuff in my main room, or in my main abode, not on campus, I have my little to read thing, just some volumes of manga to read, because all of my other to read stuff is up on campus, which we'll get to after this. But we have Mushoku Tensei Roxy Gets Serious Volume 7. You can see there I need Volume 6 so I can read both of them, put them on the shelf. Hunter x Hunter 29 and 30. It's Chimera Ant. It's peak. I love Chimera Ant. Black Clover Volume 29. I'm not the biggest Black Clover guy, but the manga does look cool, and I like to have a physical volume of manga that I've read. Jujutsu Kaisen 16 and 17. You know, into Shibuya. It's great. I love it. And then Naruto Volumes 1 through 3, because after I finish Bleach, I'm going to be reading Naruto, and then I can say I've read the big 3. But yeah, that is the collection that I have at home. Now we will get on to the collection in college. All right, finally, we have the books that are currently at my college dorm. So we have Spirit Circle Volume 2, like I said, Chainsaw Man Volume 1, Dragon Ball Z Volume 26. I'm actually not to that point in Dragon Ball Z, but I have it there. Just like I've said earlier and before, I like to have, you know, a book from a series that I read, at least with shonen wise. I haven't really done that recently, but last summer that's what I was doing, so that's when I got it. Dragon Ball, the time I got reincarnated as Yamcha. I have Tatsuki Fujimoto Before Chainsaw Man, both volumes 17 through 21, 23 through 26. Look Back by Fujimoto, Goodbye Eri by Fujimoto. Then I love all of Fujimoto's works. I really love them. I'll have reviews coming out on them at some point. I really just need to reread them and to just record the review. I just haven't. But then we got Shield Hero 20, Mushoku Tensei 15 through 19. Funny, you guys can see them there. Chainsaw Man Buddy Stories, which will come out eventually. Log Horizon 1, 2, and 3. I actually got Log Horizon 2 and 3 from like my local Books A Million on like a discount. I got them for like $2 each, but I never had Volume 1 until I finally like found it at a random like Barnes and Noble I went to on just a random vacation. I went to and I found Volume 1, and so I was able to get the first 3, and once I read them, maybe I'm gonna like absolutely love them, and then I get the rest of the series. But I have Volumes 1 through 3, and then my instant death ability is so overpowered, yada yada yada, Volume 1. I really enjoyed the manga for that, and so I picked up the light novel whenever I saw it. But yeah, no, that is my light novel collection basically. So now that I've discussed and kind of gone over everything in my collection, right? Let's look at some numbers before we finish it off, right? Let's look at some specific numbers here. So I've gone through, I've counted up the light novels and manga from each brand, and we're going to look at them, and we're going to get the complete total of my light novel manga collection here. Actually, I've been meaning to do that. I do this periodically. I haven't done it in about 2 years, so it was actually good to see the numbers. So I will say before we get into this, as a rule for counting, I have excluded my purely decorational volumes. So for example, my Sword Art Online Collector's Edition, that's 20 light novel volumes. I won't be counting that in my collections thing, I will have an extras section. The same with my decorative volume 1 of Mushoku Tensei, like the top shelf there. So it has that, the 26, and the extras book, and then also the malformed with the Elite, and then my 10 hardback Haruhi Suzumiyas. However, I am counting all 10 paperbacks that I have as part of my collection, because I will read those eventually, as well as all of my One Piece books. And I will also say that omnibus count for their amount of volumes. So, like, for example, I have 10 volumes of the Berserk Deluxe Edition, but each one of them has 3 volumes, so that's 30 volumes for Dark Horse. So, with those rules laid out, let's look at the total. So, for One Piece books, light novels, which is the publisher of Shield Hero, and I don't know what else they do, but they do Shield Hero. I have 22 of their light novels. From Seven Seas light novels, I have 69. Seven Seas manga, I have 59. Yen Press light novels, 80. Yen Press manga, 9. Vertical light novels, 2. The Bakemonogatari. American Kitsune light novels, 2. That's the publisher for Journey of a Betrayed Hero, which is the original English light novel I lent to Kyle. Udon manga, 2. My 2 Steins Gate 0 ones. Square Enix manga, Strongest Sage of Weakest Crest, as well as Ragnar Crimson. Tokyo Pop manga, which is Hands Off, which is just one of those. J Novel Club light novels, 1. There are other ones that are J Novel Club titles, but they're under 7 Seas, and it's 7 Seas light novel. But one specifically J Novel Club physically published light novel, and that's the instant death ability, whatever, yada yada. Viz manga, 61. Viz light novels, 4. That's Ace's Story 1 and 2. Manga in Theory and Practice, and then Buddy Stories. Kodansha manga, 36. Attack on Titan. Dark Horse manga, 30. So, with these numbers, excluding my extras, the total light novels is I have 180. Total manga, 203, leading to a total collection number pre-extras of 383. I'm pretty proud of that. I'm pretty proud of that. I wasn't certain exactly what kind of number it would be, but I'm pretty proud of that. I like that. It sounds good. It sounds 383. It's an impressive number. So counting the extras, extra light novels 34, extra manga only 1. It's that Japanese volume of No Game No Life. Total after extras of 418 volumes of stuff. Hey, look, it's not the biggest collection in the world, right? I'm certain most of you have larger collections. I'm certain plenty of people have larger collections, right? But I'm still pretty darn proud of my little light novel manga collection that I have here. Like I said, I've always loved collecting stuff. And so this is just another piece of the cake. I really this has been fun. Getting to see the numbers was really fun. Having to go ahead and count everything again. It took a second, but I probably miscounted some things. It's probably like, I don't know, 384 or 382, but 383. That's a pretty cool number. That's a pretty cool. I feel pretty good about that number. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No. I've. This is obviously a big passion for me. I made this entire channel around it, basically, right? Just this kind of thing, and so it's really, I love just getting to spend time with it, I guess, if that makes sense. Whenever I read a book, and like I said, all the books on the shelves are books that I've read, and putting a book that I've read on the shelf, after I've read it, it's a very rewarding feeling. To quote unquote officially grow the collection, but just to kind of make it official. It's nice. It is nice. But yeah, no, that's my light novel collection. That's all the light novels I've read. Again, yeah, I mean, I've read so much manga online that isn't here. You know, so much shonen and so much isekai and whatever, yada yada yada. So much stuff online that I don't have physically. But I mean, I do now that more of them have come out physically. I've collected some of them. That's like Ragnar Crimson, Weakest Sage of whatever, Crest, whatever. Who cares? That's not a good series. But I have 3 volumes of it. Yeah, no, I really enjoy my collection, and I hope that you all have enjoyed getting to see it a little bit. I want to once again thank everyone for 250 subscribers. It's awesome. It's really fun to make these videos for you guys, and to share in my passion with everyone, right? To make a video of me reading whatever, and then get to post that, and then get to talk with people about how good it is, or how bad it is, or how terrible my review of it is. Just getting to do that has been really, really fun. So I said thank you all for 250 subscribers, and I think that is the video. So if you're this far in the video, then obviously there is something you like. So make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me what your favorite part of my collection is. I don't know. I was just kind of going on my script, and I was like, what? Do you leave a comment? I don't know. Tell me. I mean, what's your collection look like? I don't know. What's your collection look like? Let me know all that. But yeah, no. Thank you all for watching. I certainly hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.